Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Dramatology Podcast. In this episode, I am actually not covering a drama, as you could probably tell from the title. It's been over 10 years that I've been watching dramas, and I just wanted to, do a little reminiscing. And so that's what this episode is just gonna be about, me talking about dramas, as a whole rather than a specific one drama. So I began watching dramas in 2013. That was my very first introduction to dramas. And if you'd seen my review of The Master's Son, you would hear me say that my very first drama was Flower Boys Next Door, which stars Park Shin-hye. Like, she was my very first introduction to like dramas. I remember specifically how I even began watching dramas, in the sense that I was looking for a Western TV show to watch. And back then, the popular dramas were like, Vampire Diaries and, dramas like that. That was what was like really popular among teenagers. And I remember back then, in 2013, it wasn't so much Google as it was Yahoo Answers. And so I went on Yahoo Answers and I was like, okay, recommend me a drama, a teen drama that, I'll like. Because I feel like at that point I had watched everything. And so I was like, okay, recommend me something else to watch. And so someone was like, oh yeah, why don't you check out dramas on Viki? I was like, dramas on Viki? What's Viki? Back then it was Viki and Drama Fever. For those who recall those days, like, it was Viki and Drama Fever that led the world of like Korean drama like streaming sites. And so someone was like, yeah, go check Viki and watch any drama on there. So I was like, okay. I mean, I've never, like, given the concept of watching a drama from a country that's not the USA, like, it was so odd to me. But I remember going on there and I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And I went on there, and by, I don't know, maybe divine intervention, I chose the drama that was like mild, in the sense that I feel like my introduction to Korean dramas was very good. It wasn't a drama that like turned me off like dramas forever, right? Because Flower Boys Next Door was very mellow, was very kind of healing kind of drama, right? And what made it even more special was because, for those who've seen Flower Boys Next Door, it stars an introvert, right? So Park Shin is an introvert that doesn't leave her room. She's the extreme end of introversion, right? But yeah, she's an introvert that has anxiety, being outside and talking to people. And honestly, back then that felt like me. I felt like, oh my god, this girl is representing me. So that was actually a perfect introduction to Korean dramas for me. And since then, I've just been watching more and more. I watched The Master's Son, and I remember I mentioned this in my review of The Master's Son, that when I finished The Master's Son, I was so in love with that drama that I couldn't watch anything for a long time. And there was just nothing as good as that drama. But I mean, here we are still here watching dramas. And so it's been a long, like 10 years for me and like dramas. Now, unfortunately, maybe because like I just got used to watching dramas, I actually don't recall what my first Chinese drama was, or what my first Japanese drama was. Like, if I could like go back and think about it a little bit, I think my first Japanese drama might have been From Me to You, which is perfect because I think Netflix is releasing like a redo of it, like they're remaking it and they are going to release it soon. So it's apt that that would be my first like introduction to Japanese dramas. I mean, although From Me to You is a movie, but it's still the sense of that was my first introduction to like Japanese media and how they do things and how different it is from like Korean dramas and Chinese dramas. I don't recall what my first Chinese drama was. Unfortunately, I can't remember. It just kind of blended in as I started watching Japanese dramas and Korean dramas as well. Funny enough though, I do remember what my first Thai lakon was. So my first drama from Thailand, right, that's made in Thailand, it was the Gentleman series. And I think I was watching it just as it aired for the first time. So it was the drama with it was like a series, I think. Yes, I remember now. It was like the Gentleman of Jutatep or something like that. Like, I remember loving that. I remember loving that lakon so much. Specifically the story of James and Bella, like where the actors James and Bella play like the couple. I remember loving that specific series in the old batch the most. And oh my god, I've watched that one like a billion times. If you guys want me to do a review of that drama, let me know, because it's one of my favorite. But I remember that being my introduction to Tyler Con, and honestly, because I mean, if you've never watched a Tyler Con, you might not know this, but they tend to go like very, like they do very risky things in those dramas, in the sense that like viewer discretion is advised. Like it's really bad if you're like not able to handle things like that. And generally I can't stand Tyler Cons because of that. But that particular series was okay, and it's unfortunate that that was my introduction to Tyler Con, because I feel like I kind of picked in dramas in that sense. But I have watched a few like Tyler Con since then, and I do enjoy some of them, just not all of them, right? Because they do suffer from a lot of like bad storyline. These days there's so much like Thai BL that's not made by any of like the big channels. Like none of the big channels do Lacon very well. They tend to use like the same tropes, the same things like that, right? That it just gets on my nerves. But like little ones like GMM TV, which I think is cable and also on YouTube, they tend to do their dramas very well. They tend to produce good dramas, right? And so a lot of BL series, I will say not all of them, but a lot of BL series have like good plot. Like for example, I think it's Not Me was a BL I watched that I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Another one was Bad Body, and that too was, oh my god, amazing. So like Tyler Con also, their dramas are up there as well, right? It's why they are BL dramas. I'm actually interested, for those that listen to my podcast, what was your first drama, like the very first drama that you ever watched? And also, what was the first drama that kind of hooked you to continue watching dramas? Usually that's the first drama you watch, like that drama kind of gets you and you keep watching. But if that's different from like the very first drama you watched, do let me know. So yeah, like it's been a long while, it's a ride, and I feel like I'm my 10th anniversary, so I need to celebrate this. So I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna do like an episode review today. I'm just gonna talk about dramas and how much I love dramas, and you know, like a lot of things about dramas just work for me, in the sense that like over the years, maybe as I've grown older, or maybe I just didn't notice before, but I started to, just as I was growing older, was that a lot of shows, like Western shows, they tend to have so much nudity. They tend to have so much like sex scenes. Like people be eating other people's faces. Like they are so gross to watch that I just couldn't at some point. I was like, I can't watch this. It's like everybody has this, like they're all on Viagra or something. No one has like normal bodily hormones. They all have overdrive hormones. I don't know, and it was very weird to me. And so I think that was kind of what drew me away from Western dramas and got me into K-dramas, in the sense that in the past 10 years I've been watching dramas, they aren't that explicit. Like the most you get is like 2 kiss scenes at like 10 angles, because you know they have to show you every angle that the kiss is happening in. But like it's never too much, like it's never gross in that way. Although I will say things are changing, just because of like, I don't know, maybe Western influence, or maybe it's always been there and they just would not have aired these dramas because like none of the terrestrial channels, you know, like SBS, NBC, KBS, maybe none of them would have picked up such dramas, and so they just never had dramas like that. And so now that Netflix, Apple, Hulu and HBO are all in the game, you know, they can kind of be more open and, you know, get directors and get writers that have other stories to tell that aren't maybe as palatable to, you know, a general audience. But yeah, generally Korean dramas are still very mild in comparison, which I am glad for that. Like it makes them have to have a good story. Like it forces the writers to come up with a good story. That's not to say that Korean dramas, or just dramas in general, in all across like countries, right? That is not to say that they don't suffer from bad writing. Of course they suffer from bad writing. Like it's almost inevitable, because to an extent, you can't kind of expect all dramas to be good, right? Like not all dramas will be good. But those that are really, really good, they tend to be like excellent. Like they tend to beat every picture film that's ever won like an Oscar. Like they tend to be really, really good, right? So I think that's kind of what keeps me watching, right? Those are the things that keep me watching. And also like the community of people that watch Korean dramas, because I mean, we all come from different places, right? Different experiences, and we all come together and we watch Korean dramas, right? And it's always interesting just to have people talk about dramas, and we all just love it so much, and like we talk about it for days, right? That's kind of why I started this podcast. I was so into dramas. I was like, you know what? It's time for me to channel all these thoughts somewhere, right? And so yeah, like Korean dramas, Asian dramas in general are just amazing, and I'm always grateful for those that, do this for us and produce these dramas for the viewers to watch and consume. Because, I mean, I will say that there were moments where I hated dramas in the sense that it was taken out of like my time to like be doing my assignment or my exams. I have moments in my life, there are moments in my life where I have, procrastinated because of like a drama coming out, like Emino's drama that's coming out, or like Sunjungi's drama that was out a few weeks ago. Like I'm not able to do anything in those moments. And so yeah, dramas are kind of hateful in that sense that if you have no discipline, you could always find a drama to watch, and so you always have to be careful in that sense. But generally, oh my god, I love dramas and they're amazing, and they've got me through a lot of things, a lot of baggage. Dramas, and I'll say BTS. I'm a huge BTS fan. So yeah, that's my non-review of of dramas, if that's what you call this. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. I always have fun doing these episodes. If you have a drama you'd like me to review or something you'd like me to talk about, do let me know. I am on Reddit, I am on YouTube. Just leave me a comment, and I will do my best to oblige. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.